Thank you for staying with us for the news. In our first story, government has announced an exemption of all pension funds from the debt exchange program. This follows a meeting between organized labor, the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, the Finance Ministry, the National Security Ministry, and all other parties involved yesterday. At a news conference, Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, announced he would work to explore mutually beneficial options within the debt sustainability terms.
This is a memorandum of understanding dated today, Thursday, 22nd December 2022. Following meetings held at the Ministry of Finance in December 2022 between Government of Ghana, represented by the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of National Security on the one hand, and organized labor stroke associations represented by leadership of all labor unions stroke associations on the other hand, to resolve issues on the exemptions of all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program announced by government on the 5th of December 2022. Government has decided to grant exemption to all pension funds in the domestic debt exchange program, and government and organized labor will, however, work together to explore mutually beneficial options within debt sustainability limits and to also promote microeconomic stability and economic recovery in the spirit of social partnership. Signed, Ignatius Bafwewa, Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister of Finance, Anthony Yaba, Doctor, Secretary General, Trades Unions Congress, Ghana for Organized Labor Stroke Associations.
Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta said the threat of a strike would have adversely affected the gains made in bringing stability to the economy. He added government would find means of plugging the holes to attain the 55% debt to GDP ratio.
As you know, on December 13th, we signed this historic staff-level agreement with the fund, which brought a sense of stability. Yesterday, as you know, until 4:30 a.m., Parliament passed appropriation and the budget, further bringing confidence as to where we are going. So, of course, the threat of a strike will not have inured to the spirit of the direction of where the nation is going. Obviously, the issue of exempting pension funds from it is at a cost, and we have committed government and labor, organized labor, to work together to ensure that we find means of plugging a hole that should ensure that we return to the 55% threshold. And I think that we are all committed to, because we know it's important to lead us to a board agreement so that we continue with the success that we have. But really, in the spirit of Christmas and the partnership that we have, we want to thank everybody who participated in this on the way forward. The government has done its part with the SLA. Parliament came through very strongly yesterday with the SLA, and Labour today is also showing an accommodation not only to receive the exemptions, but to also work to make sure that we restore to debt sustainability. And we thank you for that.
Well, meanwhile, the Trades Union Congress has rescinded its decision to embark on an indefinite nationwide industrial action to protest earlier plans by the administration to include pension funds in the debt exchange program.
Whether we have reached a deal that we think is in the interest of this country. There is no way that such a thing should happen again. we have promised them that we will continue to work together as social partners so that our country will get back to the stability that will benefit all of us. And we also like to thank the press for being with us. The way you carried through this demand has contributed enormously to government's position that we are announcing now. So we thank you very much for that. And I would like to thank all members of all organized labor groups. Because, you see, when we get to this level, without the support, we will fail. But we are here today because our members supported us. And we thank you very much for that support. We are hoping that government will continue to create a space for us to continue the engagement, to bring down inflation and to stabilize the country. Because without that, this achievement will even come to naught. We have to do that all together. On this note, I would like to officially inform our members that the intended strike we announced on the 19th has been called off. We will monitor the situation, and if we have to come back to you, we will. I would like to repeat that on the 27th, nobody should stay at home. Please go back to work, because our demand has been met. And the condition we gave ourselves was that if our demand is met, we will organize this conference, press conference, and inform you. And that is why we are organizing this press conference. I would like to repeat that on the 27th of December, we are all going back to work. Nobody should stay at home. There is no strike. And we are very thankful to God for this.
Well, it is an enterprise that was built to create employment for women who became single mothers due to a controversial customary practice that exists in many parts of the Upper East region. Now, more than 20 years on, the Zwarungu Single Mothers Rice Processing Center has survived difficult times to become well established. But despite support from both government and non-governmental organizations, the women who work there still struggle to make profit, especially with the current economic crisis in the country. Joy News correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Zwarungu Single Mothers Rice Processing Center was started in the year 2001 by a group of women who became single mothers due to a rather controversial customary practice which bars a man and a woman from the same community from getting married. The reason behind this practice is that people from the same community may have one descendant and therefore are considered to be brothers and sisters. However, in contradiction to this same belief, amorous relationships between men and women from these same communities are not exactly frowned upon. To put it simply, sexual relations between men and women from these communities are not a taboo, but marriages between them are strictly prohibited. A child born out of such relationships cannot be claimed by the father. By custom, such a child belongs to the father of the woman, and therefore the biological father may choose not to support that child in any way. One of the results of this practice is that the women who give birth to children from this type of relationship find themselves automatically becoming single mothers. The women who started the Single Mothers Rice Processing Center here in the Daboring community of Zwarungu were victims of this old traditional practice. They wanted to come together to support each other to economically empower themselves.
As single mothers, because in the communities with the sister-in-bed relationships, most of them are always dropouts. They drop out from school. The man cannot marry you because it's a taboo. Sometimes you cannot marry again because nowadays men don't want to marry women who are already having children. So you'll be rendered hopeless. If you are not able to take care of them, they become street children.
Faustina Abagre is a member of the Single Mothers Association and currently runs the Rice Processing Center. She says the center has survived many hurdles over the years to become a well-established enterprise, economically empowering hundreds of women. Also, the association no longer limits membership to women who became single mothers as a result of that traditional practice, but to widows as well.
We were more than even 900. We came as Single Mothers Association, but widows are also included. And now we have the women in agriculture, which the women in 7 districts in this region have come together to see how best we can talk to the duty bearers. After farming, what next? Processing. And we need help from the government. So we've come together and we have formed this Women in Agriculture.
Today, the Zwarongo Single Mothers Rice Processing Center is well equipped thanks to support from a Canadian charity and from the government.
We were trained into rice processing by the Ministry of Agriculture, and then Food Research Institute trained us to be able to parboil rice differently from the local way. Youth Harvest used us to train all the women groups who are doing rice processing in the region. Sokodevi is a Canadian NGO that has come to help those women whom we trained to enhance their rice processing. So they came and partnered with us. We have our 3-in-1 miller there. They brought the color sorter. They brought all these machines so that it can enhance our rice processing.
Now, a $35.9 million market systems and resilience program has been launched in the Upper West region to increase commercialization and profitability of the market actors and strengthen institutional capacity in the agriculture ecosystem. 7 districts in 4 regions in the Northern Belt will benefit from the program. The program, which is a 5-year project funded by USAID, will target about 200,000 beneficiaries. Rafiq Salam reports from WA.
The Market Systems and Resilience MSR Activity Program is a 5-year initiative program aimed at increasing inclusive agriculture in 4 regions in the Northern Gulf of the country. It is a $35.9 million program implemented by the Agriculture Cooperative Development International, ACDI, and the Volunteers in Overseas Cooperative Assistance, VOCA, an international development non-profit organization and funded by USAID. Under the program, farmers will be supported in the cultivation of 9 crops, namely maize, shea, bambara and soya beans, cowpea, granules, horticulture, mango and moringa. Deputy Chief Party for the Market Systems and Resilience Activity Program, Cecil Osai, threw more light on the 4 main objectives of the program.
This grant is part of the bigger project or activity, as USAID calls it now, which is $35.9 million. So the whole program is geared towards improving economic conditions in northern Ghana through agriculture, particularly to improve economic growth that touches on smallholder farmers and all those in the agricultural sector. So we work through bigger farmers to reach smallholder farmers. We work through processors. We work through all those who source material from smallholder farmers or who work with them, providing inputs and other services so that they would also experience the economic growth. First, they will get profits and their enterprises, farms will grow, and they will use the profits to invest and they will expand. And when there's a general economic growth, they will also participate and benefit from it.
The program held in WA is the 5th and climax of series of launches held earlier in Accra, Tamale, Nalarogo, and Bolgatanga. It is aimed at sensitizing stakeholders in the agricultural value chain to know more about the program to enable them to take part and benefit from it.
Online
registration. The multi-million-dollar program.
It will be led by
$6 million grant for prospective applicants.
6 million facility, 5 million open to everybody, including smallholder farmers and processors and buyers and all those people. And then 1 million dedicated for capacity building through our partners.
Olam Food Ingredients, as part of its community programs aimed at improving the livelihoods of cashew farmers and their households, is providing technical and infrastructural support on beekeeping to over 100 female dependents of cashew farmers in the Bono, Bono East and Savannah regions. Branch manager of Olam Food Ingredients, Rawal Kuti-Wayori, says this will create sustainable jobs to generate an alternative source of income capable of supporting them during off-cashew seasons. Anas Sabed has more in this report.
A total of 100 female dependents of cashew farmers in the Bono East and Savannah regions have received beekeeping trainings and additional hives and processing equipment as part of Olam Food Ingredients project, which aims at addressing food insecurity and creating sustainable alternative source of livelihood for farmers in rural cashew growing communities. The project, according to the branch manager for OFI, Rawal Kuti-Wayori, is implemented in partnership with Costco Wholesale.
Today's event is yet another new project that we are bringing on board in beekeeping to support female farmers in general. We are looking at supporting them with bee keeping items, and also to train them so that they are able to engage in this enterprise. And so that is what we are here. The project actually is funded by Costco. Yeah, Costco is going into partnership with OFI to be able to execute this project.
He also noted that the move forms part of OFI's corporate social responsibility that aims at eradicating poverty in rural communities, adding that beneficiaries must work on making good use of the training and equipment received.
As part of our corporate responsibility and sustainability, today's event is yet another big one, and we entreat the women who are the beneficiaries to make good use of these items that we are presenting to them, to ensure that they use them for the purposes that we are supporting them, and at the end of the day they will benefit to be able to support their households, even as their husbands are also struggling on the cashew farms.
Some of the beneficiaries were thankful to the organizers of the training and asked that the beekeeping kits would help them in supporting their families and their children's education.
Cashew no de eboa na nkasa samre ya ebeba emaye ye ko gina cashew na the way asi abonhire ne no emaye ni je na cashew no su twamudi a na ye ntimi ansewu sika ni ya ye ho kireye enti samonso mbeboa ya ma fan se wo na ebe emre ni niema ye tumi ayeden ayen bi na ye tumi anya bi a ka ebeboa enti ka cashew no twama na ka eden no nso so ayeden asa nan na ka aboa your sisters mu cashew no bakwa e how dey ye namu bebre say ebi ebeduru afi bi kura na cashew no nyame ama wo dey ntimi anso a na e dey how ba mofra no doso nhweye nti say wo ya omode abai ye enye ebi dade afi na chese wo bra ebi yetimi hu se ne ya omo kan no say ye di so ya fa so beba ye so say cashew no kwa ye betim de ye no aboye ma no ho ban ama ye ho nkyere ye ekoyi a the no be solve problem bi o ho akopem say cashew no beba amiye nya bi.
Also present at the event is the municipal chief executive for Tichiman, Benjamin Yaljako, who was thankful to OFI's initiative, a move he said conforms government's poverty eradication measures. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tichiman.
And on the cultural note, that's how we end the news. Stay with us for the news review. Up next.